Hey guys, today we're going to look at Punnet Squares and how we fill them out and what that means for your genes and how you can use it to predict what your kids might look like. So let's first start with a little vocab. Allele, you've heard this term before. An allele is an alternative version of a gene. So if you have blue eyes or if you have brown eyes, those would be different alleles. And we say that they are alternative versions of a gene because the gene is eye color, right? And if you have different eye colors, you have different forms of the same gene if you have blue eyes or if you have brown eyes. So alleles can be different, and we get usually one from our mom and one from our dad. So here we have chromosomes, we have a purple and we have a white. We got different ones from mom and dad. So we would call these two alleles. So how do we use alleles to figure out how to use Punnett squares? Let's move on. So alleles can be either dominant, or they can be recessive, or they can be a few other terms which we might get at the end. But let's look at dominant and recessive. If an allele is dominant, it supersedes the other allele. So for example, when we talk about alleles, we're talking about giving letters. So let's say we give it a B. Let's say a big B. This represents an allele for, let's say, brown eyes, brown hair, or whatever brown color you want. Okay, big B is for brown, and let's say little b is for blonde. This has to be hair color. Blondie. Okay, so you can see we've given the big B for brown and the little b for blonde. The big B would be dominant, that's why it's big, and the little b would be recessive, that's why it's little. So in this scenario, the big B supersedes the little b. So when you have these genes, if you get them from mom and dad, let's say that you got one big B from dad and you got one little b from mom. Here are your two genes, or two alleles of the same gene. What would your hair color be? So you have one brown and you have one blonde. Which one supersedes the other one? Well, it's the dominant one. So you would end up with brown hair here. Okay, let's look at the other combinations that we could potentially have. And let's look at those words. So the word homozygous means two identical alleles. Homo meaning the same, so you can either be homozygous dominant or you can be homozygous recessive. Here you have big T, this would be the dominant, homozygous, the same, and this would be homozygous recessive, little t, the same. Or you could be heterozygous. Heterozygous is different. The prefix hetero means different. So you have different alleles, so you'd have big T and little t. Okay, so using these letters, the T's, the P's, the B's, whatever we look at today, we can identify genotypes and phenotypes. So what's a genotype? This is another weird vocab word. Genotype simply means the letters. So if you are big B, big B, big B, little b, or little b, little b, this is your genotype, the actual letters. The phenotype is what do these correspond to? So big B, we could say would be brown. Little b would be, or I'm sorry, big B, little b would be brown. Man, my handwriting's bad. And the little b would be blonde. So phenotype is what it looks like, and genotype is the actual letters. I know that we're looking at flower color here, but this will make more sense on the next slide. Okay, so let's see what we got going on here. Okay, so let's figure out how do we use this Punnett square. So Punnett square, a nice 2x2, looks like a 4-square court. Let's figure out what's the probability of having kids with brown eyes or blue eyes. So here we have big B stands for brown and little b stands for blue. Here it says one parent has homozygous dominant allele and one parent has heterozygous allele. So the first question is, what are the genotypes of the parents, right? What are the letters? The first parent says homozygous dominant, so the same and big. So first parent would be big B and big B. And the second parent, which we just do a cross, is heterozygous. Heterozygous means different, so it would be big B, little b. Now, how do we put these letters into this Punnett square? Well, when your parents reproduce, they have a 50% chance of passing on each allele. So we have a spot for each one. So dad or mom, or whoever's big B, has a 50% chance of passing on each of these B's. So we put one here, we put the other one here, because we're looking at all outcomes. They can either pass on this one, or they can pass on this one. And same thing for the other parent, big B, little b. They can either pass on this one, or they can pass on this one. So let's look at all the outcomes. So we'll put the big B here, we'll put the little b right here. Okay, so we have our Punnet square set up, 50% chance of passing on each one both ways. Now, to fill this out, all you do is you put in your b's. So let's start right here at the top. This big B, it can be filled in here and here. Again, this is this B going to here and going to here. Let's go to the next one. This big B can go here, or it can go here. Now, from the other parent, they can either pass on this big B, so this would now be another big B, and this would be another big B, and then this little guy would go here, and it could also go here. So here's our outcomes. We have 4 possible outcomes. So question number 2 says, how many offspring will be homozygous dominant? Remember, the same and dominant. So all you have to do is you count up out of these 4. Big B, this is 1. Big B, this is 2, and the rest are not. So 2 big B's out of how many total? 4. So we end up with 1/2. Number 3, how many offspring will be heterozygous? Again, you can see here's big B, little b, big B, little b. Same thing. You get 2 out of 4, or 1/2. And then number 4 says, what will be the phenotypes produced? Remember, phenotypes is what will they look like? So, big B, okay, remember that big B is for brown, little b is for blue. This guy would be brown, because he's got brown and brown, brown and brown. Now, when we get to heterozygotes, pay attention to which one is dominant and which one is recessive. Big B and little b. Big B for brown, little b for blue, brown and brown. So, you would get 100% brown eyes. All right. Next one. Both parents are heterozygous. So remember, heterozygous means different. So again, we have big B for brown, little b for blue. So parents, genotypes, the letters. You get big, little, and you cross that with another big, little. Again, heterozygous. Again, each parent, 50% chance of passing on each one. There's 50% chance for the big B, 50% for the little one. So we're going to put this in this Punnet square to represent the probability chance. Okay, so we got our big B, little b, and big B, little b. Let's fill it in. So start with this guy. Take our big B, let's bring him down. And now we have our little b. Now, because this guy's little, we always want to probably put him on the right side first instead of the left side, because he would never go in front of a big B, right? Because the big B is dominant. So we put our little b's here on the right. Now we have our big B coming across. You can put him here, and you can put him here, right? Again, the big B would be on the left, the little b on the right. This little guy is going to go here, and it's going to go here. All right, let's look at some questions here. How many offspring will be homozygous dominant? So big B, I see 1 out of 4. 4. How many offspring will be heterozygous? Let's see, 1, 2 out of 4, which we said equals 1/2. And what will be the phenotypes produced? What are they going to look like? So, again, brown or blue. This one will be brown, right? Brown and brown. This will be brown for brown dominant over blue. This one will be brown for brown dominant over blue. And this guy, little b, would actually be blue, because there is no brown. So, you could say here we'd get 3/4 or 75% would be brown, and 1/4 would be blue. So that's Punnet Squares. I hope that it made sense. If not, go back and rewatch the video.